we're also been supporting the county government when it do an energy policy, and that's a work which has been really supported with UK Pact as well, focusing on those key areas. And I think it would be the first county energy plan that is focusing on productive uses of renewable energy and even energy efficiency and conservation combined together. Next slide. So apart from that, there are also knowledge products that you can be able to find. This first one is just highlighting how we use GIS-based energy planning in Kenya, which can be replicated across the counties. And the last one was a webinar which was just emphasizing the role of political leadership as far as energy transition is concerned. The last slide, I think. Okay. The political leadership is key, just to emphasize that. Data is key. Partnerships is vital as far as the work of energy is concerned. I think that number one is really key to me. As far as this energy work is concerned, Makueni has really stood out because of the support that the governor himself has shown as far as the energy sector and of course other sectors are concerned. Last one. Okay. So what just to emphasize here is the scalability. We believe that the work that has been done in Narok and done in Makueni can be scaled to other counties that have not maybe done their county energy plans, but not only in Kenya, but across the region. And as far as Kenya is concerned, one of the requirements is that these county energy plans be integrated together with the plans from the energy agencies, Kenya Power, Ketraco, etc., into the national integrated plan. But that would not really work properly if the energy plans are not digitalized. So we are really recommending the digitalization of the county energy plans so that the integration can be really easy and is something that we believe we have the capacity to do. So I think even as we close this, we encourage the counties that have not done their plans to reach out to like-minded partners like WRI, Practical Action, and others to do their energy plans. I would like to welcome my colleague.
Thank you so much. So I'll just be taking you through brief slides on financing. So even as we prepare the plans and the policies, it's really vital for us to think about the end goal, financing. Because even the implementation of those plans and policies need to be financed, whether this is coming from public budgets or whether this is financing the end users. Next slide, please. Control center. Yeah, so this is how we think of finance within the World Resources Institute. So we have 3 levers. We have a lever on unlocking international finance. We do this through partnerships between the Africa region and partnerships from the global offices. And the partnerships actually involve, especially from where the development financial institutions are majorly housed. So that's on the area I will speak to you briefly. In fact, as we speak, there's a recently launched knowledge product. Just go back to the previous slide. I need people to be able to scan that. At the top right, if you're able to scan that, that's our newly launched knowledge product that proposes what sort of framework can be used by sub-national governments to be able to unlock financing and enable the integration of energy across all other departments, because energy is an enabler. So there's that knowledge product that we've launched. I've also placed some placards on some of your seats. You can also scan that QR code, but feel free to reach out to me in case you would like more insights on that. So the knowledge product itself on integrated planning and budgeting identified certain barriers to unlocking clean energy budgets from the subnational level. And one of them is capacity gaps. Just to point out that the case study that we used here was Makueni County. So we've done a lot of work in Makueni County, but we'll keep expanding that to other counties as well. There's also an element of poor coordination, not just between the county departments, but coordination between the county departments and the national government. So we are also proposing a framework that can enable integration of clean energy and effective coordination between both horizontally and vertically to ensure that clean energy is recognized as an enabler across the different development priorities, especially in agriculture and the health sector. These are some of the barriers that we found out. Next slide, please. Control center, you have to be alert. So these are some of the recommendations that we identified. So of course, Victor has spoken about building the capacity of all departments within the county, but also ensuring that there's effective coordination, not just within the county, but also vertically across with the national government. There's the use of data and evidence. Victor again has gone through the Energy Access Explorer, which is a geospatial tool that can be used to plan and also enable even impact investors to be crowded in because they are well aware of the areas that will require energy. But what I want us to pick from here is actually the guiding framework, which came out as the tool that we need to use as counties to ensure that we integrate energy across all other sectors and not think of it as an afterthought, because most of the time is, for example, a health facility is being brought up, but you end up thinking about the energy needs of that health facility at the very end. So this is what we are trying to avoid or rather address with this framework. Yeah, it might not be so clear from here, again, which is why I would encourage you to scan through the QR code and read the paper. But this is the framework itself. It actually aligns with the budgeting process within the county. This is the summarized version, but also the budgeting process at the national level. So it ensures that there's a secretariat that is well aware of the coordination issues, but this secretariat is not just a secretariat that will be formed with the county government officials, but a secretariat that will also involve the national government. So the timeline there on the very right aligns with the budgeting cycle of the national government. Next slide, please. Victor has spoken about this. I'm now shifting gears from now the integrated planning and budgeting framework to an investment prospectus that we developed for Makueni County. The investment prospectus actually outlines bankable projects that are within the county, so that if development partners are coming in, they're not just seeing policies and plans, but they're seeing tangible projects that they can invest in. So on the right there, that's the health facility, Makueni County Referral Hospital, that was solarized with a 200 kilowatt peak solar system. And the county is now saving 7 million Kenya shillings annually. This is one of the projects that we highlighted in the investment prospectus. There are also a number of projects in the agricultural sector. So we focused more on the end user side of agriculture. So we had projects totaling to about $5.47 million that we had input there. And we continue showcasing these projects to various investors through matchmaking platforms. But now we are scaling this work. We are scaling it to more counties, but even regionally. So we are also, other than Makueni, we are currently developing an investment prospectus for Homa Bay, Nyandarua, Nakuru, Machakos, and Kilifi. So we came up with a criterion why we chose these 5 counties, which we call high impact, high potential criteria, that looks at the economic impact of those projects, the potential social impact in terms of food security, livelihood improvement, and gender equity. And lastly, on greenhouse gas emission reduction. Next slide, please. So again, this might not be so clear, but the preliminary analysis from the regional investment prospectus that we are building. So like I said, we are scaling. So we started with Makueni as our case. We are moving to 5 more counties, but also regionally. We doing the same for Uganda and Tanzania. So these are some of the projects that we actually will be highlighting in the detailed investment prospectus for the other 3 countries. We've mapped out the potential interventions for renewable energy, be it solar water pumps and cold rooms, the potential payback period based on the investment cost for those projects. But like I said, we are focusing more on the end user projects that will benefit the end user, in this case, smallholder farmers, if you're looking at agriculture. With that said, this is my last slide. We actually, like I said, we are deepening the subnational level energy work through partnerships again that we are having with the partners in the room. We want to also ensure that those county energy plans that we develop are financed, which is why we're working in the areas of unlocking finance and developing a pipeline of investable projects. And we are also documenting best practices through knowledge products. So other than looking at the Makueni model, we want to scale this within the region. But from here, we can't do this alone. We are calling for partnerships. A good example is the partners who are already in the room. I can see a lot of interest. But also we are looking for direct investment and financing in the projects that we highlight in the investment prospectus. So we'll keep documenting these projects. We'll keep matching the projects to potential financiers so that the end goal is for us to see the end user benefiting. I'd like to stop there. Thank you so much. I believe, Victor, you will hand us to the next presenter.
Can you appreciate him? Thank you. I would like to welcome Charity just for the next brief presentation. And then soon we will be going to the next one. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. All right. I'll be quite brief. We've had a lot of good case studies and success stories in other counties, including Makueni, which is the essence of the conversation today about devolution. So allow me to take a different angle to look at a bit of the climate resilience work we are doing in WRI, and I'll focus on the city of Nairobi. So I'll start by introducing myself. I'm Charity Mombi Mwangi, the Urban Nature-Based Solutions Associate working at WRI, leading the climate resilience work for the cities of Nairobi. So for the cities of Nairobi, within the cities pillar, we have 3 key departments, which is livable neighborhoods, e-mobility, and climate resilience. But for the purposes of the conversation today, I'll focus on climate resilience. Perhaps to the next one. So for Nairobi, we are focusing on rehabilitating and revitalizing the riparian ecosystem for the city. And we're focusing on the 3 major rivers within the Nairobi Basin, which is Nairobi River, Ngong River, and Mathare River, as well as other community facilities as we identify jointly with the Nairobi City County Government, among other partners that we are working with. And it's important to mention that, as I mentioned about partners, we're working very closely with Nairobi City County Government, and I know a number of them are represented here. We're also working with Nairobi Rivers Commission. We are also part of the Technical Advisory Committee member of the Nairobi Rivers Commission. Maybe we can just move to the next one. And for this particular piece of work, we are focusing on 3 key elements which form our theory of change. And the first one is developing policies, strategies, and plans. That is followed closely by unlocking resources to implement these policies, plans, and strategies. And then lastly, we are working very closely with communities on what we call the on-the-ground implementation. And implementation of nature-based solutions includes tree planting, revitalizing the degraded wetlands, among other activities. So for the first theory of change, which is policies, plans, and strategies, currently we are working again very closely with Nairobi City County Government, among other partners, to develop a high-level issue brief. And this issue brief is focusing on the causes, the key drivers and impacts of flooding within the city, and also coming up with integrated recommendations. And of course, the case study for this is the 2024 flooding, which was quite impactful for the city of Nairobi. We are also developing what we are calling the GESI Responsive Nairobi Rivers NBS Strategic Framework. So GESI means Gender, Equity, and Social Inclusion. And why we are developing this is because we realize there is a gap within the city. We do not have a nature-based solution policy. And so we are developing a framework that can be able to guide the city in informing decisions, or rather it's a toolkit that will be able to inform the city on what contextual nature-based solutions needs to be implemented where. So we are just providing a supporting role. This is just an example of a map we've developed as WRI, showcasing where we had a lot of flooding events in the year 2024. Those again are just photos of when we were doing the ground truthing. We were able to collect those photos. It's just showing the impact of the flooding, and the photo below is just a stakeholder engagement of the brief that I mentioned to discuss on how do we best mitigate flooding within the city of Nairobi. Perhaps you can proceed. Then for the second theory of change, as I come to a close, is unlocking resources. And how we are doing this is we've had an investor roundtable at the beginning of this year. We have also developed concept projects together with the county government of Nairobi, as well as the Nairobi Rivers Commission, Carefree, and other partners. And together we are unlocking resources or fundraising towards implementation of NBS. Perhaps you can move to the next one. And then we have locally led implementation. So for locally led implementation, as I mentioned, we are again working with our partners to identify spaces where we can implement NBS. So far, we've planted not a lot of trees, about 900, but we plan to implement 16,000 trees by September of this year, which is a month from now, in identified schools, county-owned hospitals, and along the riparian. And of course, we'll do this together with our local communities and our partners. And what we have done in preparation for that is that last month, on 28th of July, we had a one-day training targeted to all our technical partners as well as our communities, where they were trained on appropriate technologies for tree planting to be able to rehabilitate the riparian space. And of course, through this training, then they will be able to properly manage these NBS through tree planting. I'll stop at that and perhaps invite my next colleague to take us through.
Thank you so much, Charity. I stand on all protocols observed. My name is Reynolds Kihura. I lead the data and product strategy at our cities program. And my goal with this next 3 or so slides is just to take you through some of the data products that we have that enabling cities to plan for climate resilience. We do know cities are expanding right now. We also know that a lot of cities are face a lot of climate risks. I had flooding, and there's so much more that cities face. So what we do when we think of data and how we purpose data to help cities is think about the relevance of this data, the scalability and accessibility. That's how we are guiding principle in terms of building data solution. Please just go to the next slide. And to date, we have quite a number of data products. I think Victor mentioned the Energy Explorer, and I'll just show you a couple more what we have. And if you see any point of interest or Congress in terms of what your subnational government is planning, then we can see how to support it. So data products, we also build inside interfaces in infrastructure, and we also support with engagement, capacity building, and decision support as you're working in data. So I'll go quickly through an overview of some of the work we've done. I think this is too bright. But so these are the three pillars where you work as cities. Charity mentioned this. We've worked on different data-related issues. So right now we're working on addressing urban heat, on climate resilience. We have done a lot of trend analysis, flood modeling, groundwater recharge potential, landslides, GHG. We also been doing a lot of equitable resource mapping and also doing spatial mapping of inequalities within our city. So maybe as Viga or maybe Makueni, as you're looking at how your city is growing and expanding, probably you're trying to think about so what inequities exist right now and how can this be spatially seen and how can we begin working on interventions and also doing feasibility of even NBS projects and also urban mobility, which I'll not focus for now. So I'll just mention three key data products that we are working right now. So we have a platform we are building called the Cool Cities Lab, specifically addressing urban heat within our cities. And with this data, what you can do, we are simulating cooling scenarios. So for example, if you plant street trees, if you adopt cool roofs, if you put park and shades within your city, what's the potential cooling effect of this? And we are doing what we also call thermal comfort modeling, which is the human experience of heat on ground. So as you looking at your center as it grows, because as cities grow, they become vulnerable to heat. Then how's the vulnerability at the moment and how can you address it? So this data, the tools, the features are able to guide urban planners in thinking about this and work. I'll go to the next one. The Atlas of Urban Growth is a data product that helps cities to understand how the city has been expanding over a period of time. Because you need to understand and project how the city is growing so that you can plan for amenities in advance, for mobility, for urban services. So this platform especially maps the expansion of cities, the projected expansion of 50. I think we have projections until 2050. And we also has some climate risks you can foresee, because if populations are encroaching in areas that are vulnerable to flood, we're able to show you through this tool those areas and hotspots and begin planning ahead. Then the last one is cities indicators dashboard. So this is specifically related to climate risks. So ideally with this tool is to help urban planners understand the sustainability of cities. So we have key metrics we track here. Flood, heat, biodiversity, green space, air quality, land restoration and protection. So it's an amalgamation of a number of risks, a number of sustainability metrics that as an urban planner you need to have visibility on as you think about your city. That's a breadth and overview of the data products we have, and we're happy to collaborate and plug into your county work plan strategies and support you with the data to help you think about and plan for climate resilience. Thank you so much, and I'll hand it back to Victor.
recently employed 4,000 of our Green Army who are helping us to implement these interventions and initiatives at the ground level, whereby they support us in the tree planting and collection, transportation of our garbage. We have landscaping and beautification initiatives. These are for green spaces. They help us in cooling the city and also reducing the carbon in the air. We have a multi-sectoral approach involving other departments, and also WRI is a key partner. We have building institutional capacity. Recently, we did a design studio whereby a group of residents who live along the riparian, they came to, through WRI, we brought them together to bring their proposals of what they would like to have along the river. So we also have, okay. The pictures that we have, please go back. So the first one is training and capacity building that we held with WRI, and the next is the tree planting after the event. So these are the green spaces we have in Nairobi. That is a section of Uhuru Park. The first one is a section of Uhuru Park, the botanical garden. The next is a section of Central Park. That's the outdoor amphitheater. So the lower pictures are pictures of tree planting initiatives that we've undertaken in the city, because we do have the target of 1.1 million annually. So in this picture, the first two, those are pictures of our tree nursery at City Park, where we do propagation of tree and plant seedlings, not just trees. We also have plant seedlings incorporating both flowers, shrubs, and tree seedlings. So that is the product of this tree nursery. Yes, so that is it from me, and I'd like to recognize and appreciate WRI for what they're doing with us. Thank you.
I would say we do a better one. Thank you. So we are switching gears as we come to a close on the screen. Just to welcome George. It has been more of Water Resources Institute, a little from the county. Then we can hear from Practical Action. As we conclude this, then we go to the panel session. Brief.
Morning, everyone, and all protocols observed. My name is George Theuri from Practical Action. As the presentation comes on, we can just move on to the next slide. So Practical Action is a development organization or an NGO with operations in Kenya and headquartered in the UK. We can move to the next slides. For which we operate in different, what you can call thematic areas, and working with people looking at impacting on change, and also communities to bring about change in various thematic areas. Next slide. So as that slide indicates, some of the thematic areas we do work in sustainable food systems, where we promote regenerative agriculture. We have a project on agriculture here in Western Kenya, in various counties, even in Vihiga and Homa Bay, Siaya, Kisumu, in circular economy, and finally in clean energy, which is now the focus of this presentation. Looking at energy planning at the counties. It's a journey we started some time back in around 2020, 2021 thereof, for which initially we did capacity building for 43 counties, for which now we narrowed down to in-depth capacity building for quite a number of counties. For 17 counties, we worked with them in the journey of the CEP development. And it's good that I can see Governor Otilo here. I remember when we came to your county, I think some 3 years back, when we started the CEP journey, and it's a journey that we are continuing in the development. We've worked with various partners over the years, as indicated, from the UNDP project, EU, GIZ, Green Climate Fund, are some of the partners we worked with in supporting the counties. So those are some of the county energy plans that we've developed, and also they've been launched. So supporting the counties in improving energy access for the communities and the people resident in those counties. We can go to the next slide. And in terms of our approach, so one of the things that we've really strived is empowering county or building the capacity of counties in doing energy planning. A case example is that initially in county energy planning, it's a process which used to take over 2 years in development. But through constant working together, collaboration, both also with the Ministry of Energy and also with various partners. Right now, an approach has been developed for which even counties can take a period of between 6 to 8 months in developing their pre-buried document, the energy plan, and then also looking at the other aspects of the energy policy and the investment prospectus. We can jump to the next one. We are also pleased to announce that we've received funding from UK PACTA through FCDO or the British High Embassy, for which we'll be working with 5 new counties, supporting them in the development of the CEPs, that's the county energy plans, the energy policy, and the investment prospectus. Also another critical aspect is that we'll also be working with the Council of Governors to also strengthen their capacities, because once this funding is over, the CEG will also play a critical role in supporting the counties to move this journey forward. Because there's the essence of coming up with the energy plans, but also there's the essence of implementation, and also at the end of every three years, as per the INEP or Integrated National Energy Plan framework, counties are also supposed to review their energy plans. Next slide. So energy is an enabler. So for that slide just indicates, if you look at the cooling functions, if you look at the farm work, in reduction of post-harvest losses, energy has to be integrated or planned for in every cycle of the economy. So I'll just move quickly, if you can go to the next slide. So just looking at now why do we do energy planning? So previously, in the previous dispensation before the counties, energy planning was a centralized function. But now counties have the mandates. It's part of it has been devolved. So for counties to be able to take up these mandates as per the Constitution of 2010 and also as per the Energy Act of 2019, which now brought about Integrated National Energy Planning Framework, counties now have the mandate now to take up those functions. And the key documents that now they need to develop, when you speak of the county energy plans, when you speak of the energy policies, and also the investment prospectus, as also WRI also speaking about all these. But importantly also is once developed is the implementation, the financing of all these plans. But also having the framework necessary to enable enactment of the plans. We can jump that slide and also now come to when counties now come also planning your overall planning functions. When you are developing your CIDPs, is energy part of the critical aspect considered? We are signatories to do with the SDG 7 on energy access. So how now do we also internalize that when you are doing your county integrated development plans? So for the county energy plans and also energy policy, they are critical also in advising or integrating energy planning in the CIDPs. Next slide. So this is just an overview. I know it's not so clear in terms of now when you now come to the energy planning process. It should be a consultative process for which the community, starting from the ward level. So planning is done from the ward level upwards, in the sense that you have to capture the essence. What are the needs of the people? What's the electrical? What's the thermal need? What's the mechanical need of the people? If you speak of the cooking needs, yeah, does the population have access to clean cooking GCOS? Do the schools and institutions have access? Do the hospitals have access? So data is central in all this, and also close consultation at all aspects of planning is important, so that to meet the stipulation of the INEP framework, or the Integrated National Energy Planning Framework. Next slide. So it's just showing, I think part of it you can see aspect to do with community engagement as part of that. There's an essence of formation of technical committee, and also at every stage there's an essence of political goodwill from the top leadership of the county when you are coming to do your energy planning. We can go to the next slide. So yeah, so these are just pictures of some of the consultation processes. You can go to the next slide. When doing the county energy planning process, I think for me it's just to insist that the needs of the people have to be well captured when now coming to design the solutions. So, and now these solutions now lead to the projects that will be financed as part of the energy plan. Yeah. So finally, just to mention also a project that Practical Action is doing, also in collaboration with a component of WRI, that's a Partnership for Growth. It's on e-mobility. Because one of the things we are noting is that e-mobility is mostly centered in Nairobi. So a key study we are doing is to understand why is e-mobility not going to the counties? What are the gaps and barriers? Or what are the enablers that need to be in place for e-mobility to trickle down in the county? If you look at the border sector, it's quite big in all the counties. So why are we not having the electric bikes? Why are we not having the private companies coming in place? Governor, why do you not have a public charging park, yeah, for e-mobility? Or is there a framework? I know, like Nairobi, I've seen Morris. I think it's the first county that wants to come up with a framework on public charging. So this needs to be decentralized so that we have more investment and more players going to the counties for adoption of e-mobility. Yeah, I think that's all for me. Victor, thank you.
Thank you so much, George. I think you have done better. I'm not telling you to clap again. Maybe you can clap for all of them at once. Thank you. Thank you so much. So I would like just to take this opportunity to give to the excellencies in the House just to greet us. And if they have a statement they can make, then after that I'll welcome Susan to lead us in the next part as we move towards the panel. Is there any other excellency this side which I have not been able to identify? Okay, thank you. His Excellency, the Governor of Vega. You can just greet us.
Well, I want to thank all those who have presented this morning, and particularly I'm very, very much impressed by what WRI is doing for us in the energy sector, and particularly the focus on county governments, how we can come up with county energy plans, because that's very crucial. It's an area that as counties, we have not given a lot of priority, and yet energy is the enabler for all the activities that we do, and particularly as we move forwards towards industrialization, we really need to have energy. And I'm particularly happy that we are now focusing through these initiatives on renewable energy. And I'm particularly interested in the Makueni example, where now we are able to save energy through the national grid by installing solar systems that will make counties save. In fact, counties, we spend a lot of money on electricity, and some of the bills we get, sometimes we question them. But because there is the monopoly, we have no choice but to pay the bills and complain later. So I think having alternatives is a very good thing to do. Also, I want to note with gratitude the work, practical, practical action is doing. We have worked with them a lot in Vihiga County, and I want to appreciate the role they are playing, particularly in building capacity for our youth in entrepreneurship programs. So I would like to thank everybody who has attended, and particularly the British Embassy. I can see you are doing a very good job, and by supporting practical action, actually you are supporting a lot of initiatives at the county level, and we appreciate the issue of climate change and climate resilience. I'm happy is now being mainstreamed in all the sectors, and I want to congratulate the county for what you are doing to initiate climate resilience actions within the city, and hope we can emulate the same and have it in other cities, and particularly the incoming cities. Due to devolution, we have so many cities that are growing very fast, so many markets, so many small areas that are now turning into urban areas. So it's important that we plan for them, because otherwise we will end up with urban sprawl in those areas when you could have planned earlier. So let me end there and thank everybody who has come.
So it's good to have people who are intelligent in the House. Thank you, Governor. Her Excellency, I know you are part of the panel, but for now, thank you.
Okay. Oh, thank you. I think it is still good morning. Good morning. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for the presentations that have been made. They are such wonderful presentations. My name is Lucy Mulili, Deputy Governor, Makueni County. I'm here on behalf of His Excellency, the Governor, His Excellency Motula Kilonzo Jr., and we want to thank the WRI for the good work that they've done in Makueni. I'm happy when Governor Otichilo, His Excellency from Vihiga County, speaks about that. Makueni, there's an example, but also we have seen with you, practical action. A lot also has been done in your county, and we're looking forward actually to a place whereby, like our through WRI, how they assisted the county government of Makueni, come up with an solarization, feasibility and solarization of Makueni Referral Hospital. And I think Kenya Power, because we have too much energy that is stored, is not used. We hope that, again, we can be the first county to start selling energy to Kenya Power, and then they don't bill, or I don't know. So, yeah, we are in those discussions because we have so much power that is at the referral hospital. I may not be able, because I'm not technical in energy, but I may not be able, but I want to say that real solutions, real practical solutions at the subnational governments are happening. We are happy with our county energy plan. through WRI, a lot of support, sensitization, the county energy draft policy, sensitization of the various departments. A lot has been done. And we can only, going forward, we really we have been able to integrate energy planning at the point of water projects. Most of our water projects are using solar, most of the water projects. But health, especially outside the county headquarters, that is something we are looking towards for. And I agree with His Excellency the Governor. Some of the bills, when you look at them, 100 million, you just, oh, this can do so many ECD classes. This can do so many roads. So this is the way to go. We thank the development partners. Thank you, the British government. We thank you extremely for the work you've done. You have capacity built the staff at the county level. Your knowledge, you have very deep knowledge on some of these plans. As we developed together, we have seen capacity built at county government, and that is where we want to go, because subnational governments are here in this county, Homa Bay, to learn from each other and get the best practices from each other so that we can move forward this nation. I thank you all.
Thank you so much. Another intelligent person to have in the room. And thank you. So at this moment, I would like to welcome Balozi, Her Excellency. Okay.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Susan Maina. I'm the Country Director of Practical Action, Kenya. My role is very simple, is to welcome Her Excellency to give a few remarks. And then we are going to go into our panelists' conversation. This is really exciting. And for me, just hearing about, evidencing of partnerships, it's very key, when, WRI, we are here with the county governments, evidencing that through partnerships, they've been able to do a few things. From practical action itself, we know we've only been able to move how far we've moved because of partnerships. And so I welcome Madam to give a few remarks. And then we will have just about 2 seconds of questions from me that will open us to the panel discussion.
2 seconds of questions sound just about right. So thank you everybody for joining this side event. It's pretty hot in here and you have just been bombarded with an awful lot of information. I promise I won't give you anything too technical. I'll leave that to the Governor. He's the expert on these things. It's great to see so many experts here though, and to hear how your work is making such a difference. I just wanted to say 3 things about why the UK cares about this and what we could do a bit more of, perhaps. I'm conscious I've got my team here and I don't want to put them on the spot. But also, if Susan asks me any difficult questions, they're absolutely helping, right? So anyway, okay, so just 3 things. One, you'll have heard from George and from others about the work of the UK PACT programme. And what we're trying to do with that is move from just kind of delivering the Clean Cook Stove initiative or some of the other projects that you might have been familiar with over the last 10 or 20 years that we've seen. And they do make a difference. But what you've heard today is this real data-centred approach to planning and working across all the partners in the counties and with the national government, and taking advantage of new technologies as well, some of the off-grid solar electrification stuff that we saw happening in Makueni and in other counties. And that there is then peer learning between the counties so that everybody is moving forward together and learning from each other. And I think that we could strengthen and expand the work of PACT. You've heard that there's some more funding for it, but it's not just about the money, it's about the partnerships and how we share that information across the counties. And I think the second thing I just want to say is to step back from the specific interventions and focus just a little bit on the UK-Kenya strategic partnership. We were lucky enough to host His Excellency President Ruto in London earlier in July. It was a bit busy, and we had a lot of CSs, PSs, and colleagues came. And I think one of the things that we were able to look at with the new UK-Kenya strategic partnership that His Excellency signed with our Prime Minister Keir Starmer was some shared goals around green growth and climate adaptation. And that's not the UK in a sort of traditional role of saying this is what needs to happen. This is us really genuinely learning from what's happening in Kenya and working with you to take things forward on the global stage. And our science and technology collaboration and partnership and mobilising our commitment is to try through the private sector and through the international financial institutions to mobilise $200 million for climate initiatives here in Kenya. And we're not going to do that alone. And so my third point is around partnerships. You'll have heard a lot. There was a lot of slides and a lot of acronyms on those slides, and I won't add to any more of that. But we and you are not going to do this alone. And I think the most important thing that I've seen from the Devolution Conference here is how many different organisations are working together and how many different counties and different combinations are working together to great success. And that's really, really impressive. And I'm just very proud that the UK can be a part of that and support it. So I'd just like to say thank you to Susan. I'm happy to take some questions. I may not be able to answer them, but please do throw anything my way and I'll do my best.
So, somehow you saw my questions because you greatly responded to my first question, which was going to be what the UK is looking to do into deepening partnerships, from Kenya, from the national government all the way to the subnational government. And you've already alluded to some of the things that you're already doing, of course, starting with the recent engagements between our president and the UK Prime Minister. So thank you very much for that. And so perhaps the second question would be, in terms of collaborations, what do you see the UK doing in terms of building those collaborations between communities across the national government as well as the county government? I mean, from the conversations that are already coming here, it's very clear that there's need for that ongoing collaboration. And sort of Kenya as a country then, because we've identified what our gaps are, then we want to walk the path. And we know we have UK aid supporting us. So what are some of the initiatives that you would support in terms of building and strengthening the collaborations?
So probably two things, and I might go slightly higher than the national level. So we saw in September 2023, Kenya host the Africa Climate Summit, and it was a really unique occasion, and we saw the Nairobi Declaration come out from that, and Kenya really playing a leading role on the world stage. Kenya hosts the United Nations Environment Programme, one of 4 UN headquarters in Nairobi. And I think there's something that the UK can do in terms of supporting and working with Kenya in partnership with others to demonstrate and get Kenya's voice and the voice of other African countries that Kenya may lead or represent. And we've seen the governor of Vihiga as chair the climate committee at the Council of Governors. So there is a wealth of knowledge that starts at the very top and goes through the different systems here. And I think making sure that that expertise and that voice is heard, and the UK can help Kenya get its voice heard on the international stage, because we're coming up to the next African Climate Summit in Addis Ababa, and it would be great to see the legacy from the first ACS roll over into the next one. So I think there, and then I think at the county level, I mean, it's a very different picture. Different counties have very different issues. But when I do go and visit, as often as I can, and some of the work we supported, including with Vihiga on and I don't think Makueni, but certainly Wajir and others on the green finance assessments, was looking at where investors could come in. So it's great to see the work of PACT and Practical Action, but this is all grant-financed work, and that is not going to be enough to solve the problem. We're going to have to lever in finance from other sources, and even within our own office, we're not as joined up as we could be. I've come with my colleague from Climate and another colleague from Trade and Market Access, and even yesterday in the car they were talking about solarisation of hospitals in different counties. Even we as the UK government in an office here in Nairobi could be more joined up and make our scarce resources go further. And so if we think about how we do that collectively, because it's great to do these energy plans, but at the end of it, you need the investors. And I think that's an area where we can help play a role. We have a range of UK companies. We are still just about, I think, the largest foreign direct investor in Kenya as the UK. There are some issues there around predictability of that business environment, and it's great that we work across those. It's not just about climate and environment. And so listening to the voices of your officials and the experts, and then finding out what practical convening power the UK can use, both the global but also throughout. But I think that's absolutely plenty from me.
Thank you very much. Exciting, right? Really exciting. Let's give a big applause. And I think we are now getting into the next big conversation with our panelists. And Victor, Meron is from WRI, is going to lead the next conversation with our panelists. Thank you very much. Welcome, Meron.
Thank you very much. It has been such a pleasure to be this morning with you all, and thank you all, the excellence, and for a wonderful conversation and presentations that we have. And now we are going to move to the panel discussion, where a few of the people are going to join me on the stage for a deeper discussion on what we have been talking about earlier today, the role of counties and the role of partnerships, and also opportunities on scaling up on some of those amazing case studies and examples that we have heard, how we can move them forward. So, Victor, would you need to invite people to the stage? Because I might... Okay. So first, I would like to invite Her Excellency Lucy Mutili. And next, I'll be inviting Robina Avia from British High Commission. I don't have a name for... I don't have the names. And Mr. Maurice Carvai from Nairobi City County. And Tim Waki from Practical Action. Thank you all. I haven't done the introduction because I would like to allow you all to introduce yourself a little bit in the context of what we're going to be talking about. We're going to take 2 minutes for that and then delve deep into the conversation that we've been having. Are we going to need a mic? Yeah. So to save us a bit of time, I shall then move into the conversation. If we may start with her. It's not working. Okay, no, I would like to start with you. Obviously, I can't start. I would love to start with you. Yeah. So we wanted to start. We have heard a lot of versions of why counties are best to play this role, but we would also like to hear, having sitting in a leadership role at the county level and having seen how different sectors interact or how they work, and also what the need is. We want to hear a bit from you on why you think counties are best placed to engage in the energy planning, as well as also focusing at the nexus of climate resilience and energy as we understand it from the ground up.
Thank you very much. My name is Lucy Molili, Deputy Governor, Makueni County, and I want to respond to your question about why counties are best placed. I believe that counties are best placed because they are the ones at the grassroots, and they have a unique perspective of the various wards and regions within their counties, and therefore there's that aspect that they are nearer to the people, nearer to the people in terms. Okay, sorry, I didn't do anything. Okay, so I believe they are best placed, and they have understanding of the unique needs of the people and there are also unique needs of the county at the grassroots level, and this is because the counties, when you consider there are various programs or projects that cut across various departments, whether it's agriculture, water, hospitals, and even urban municipalities that require the use of renewable energy or energy resilient programs. The counties are best placed to undertake that function. And therefore, I believe with the correct budgeting, with correct plans, having the energy plans being in place, having a unique perspective of public participation at the county level, which do not happen at national level. There's good public participation at national level, but there's a deeper public participation at the county level, and therefore a unique understanding of the needs of the people and how to approach them and how to solve them. Thank you.
Thank you. It's good to pass to Robina. Robina, I want to come to you. Same question, similar question. Why is UK Pact continue to invest in counties, and where do you see is the long-term impact of such investments from a development partner's perspective?
Thank you so much, Meron. Good, is it afternoon yet? Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Robina Abuya. I work for the British High Commission, and I manage the UK Pact program that is partnering for accelerated climate transitions. And going back to your question, and from the Deputy High Commissioner, it has been really articulated very well. Why are we still interested with working with the counties, and what is the long-term impact? Well, first and foremost, based on the agreement, or at least the demand scoping that has been done of what gaps exist in Kenya, and which have led to the strategic partnership that is existing between the UK government and the Kenya government. It is really a core priority area. There are several priority areas, of course, but climate, nature, environment is one of the core priority areas of the top 4. The other ones, for example, technology was mentioned, and science and technology was mentioned, and security as well. So that is the first reason. It is a core priority area, and that is because of the demand that has been identified. For example, the example of Makueni, where they know the gaps, they know the needs of people. That is what has led to the identification of the gap and the demand. Number two, what impact would we want to see? I think from a partner's perspective, and especially a funding partner's perspective, one of the key things we like to see or we love when we see is the interest, the willingness, and the capacity to carry that forth. For example, if I dwell on the Makueni case, supporting them with technical assistance to develop an energy plan, they went the extra mile. They used more than the seed funding or the small support that we had given them to do the installation, the solar panel installation, and that has reduced the 7 million shillings per month that they were talking in reduction of the power bill that they used to do before. So the impact we like to see is that the buy-in, the interest, the progression, and the investment from the county's perspective itself. If they invest, then it attracts more, and it also shows that there is still interest, then we can scale up, whether within the same county or to other different counties as well. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, County Makueni is making us all proud, and we are hoping to see that being replicated everywhere. So this is a bit about accelerating climate compatible planning, and I'm coming back to you, Her Excellency, on the intersection of energy and climate resilience is something that we have talked about a lot. And in a very simple way to think about the intersection between energy and climate resilience is allowing, for example, allowing farmers to have access to solar power energy so that they will be able to continue to produce while it's a drought season. So that kind of connection is also what we have been very much seen useful and profitable. We wanted to hear how the County of Makueni is thinking about or systematically trying to embed this energy and climate resilient nexus approach into the development planning and budgeting.
Thank you. Thank you. About the energy and resilience at the planning level, we have a unique, again, let me say, perspectives of how we do our planning. We begin at the lowest level. It's almost a village, cluster level. Then we go to sub-ward level, we go to ward level, and all those proposals that come from the village level going to cluster to the ward level, they again end up at the county level, whereby we are able to see which will be done, which projects will be done, which will not be done. But again, look deeper and find out, is there something that the community left out? Because the planning department is at the county headquarters. So, and we are able to advise the community because we have ward budgets that this one was under budgeted. And this one, the county decides, no, this one is going to be a flagship by the county government. So it has been a robust engagement with the grassroots level, together with the county government Department of Finance and Planning. And we have, especially for, and I've said earlier, for water projects, because water is our #1 priority. So most, let me say, over 90% of water projects in Makueni County, we have been able to integrate budgeting, which takes into consideration climate resilience, so that the projects are able to be sustainable. Because when they are not resilient, okay, we have a problem here. They may not be sustainable. Sorry about the microphone, but yes, they are sorting out the problem. So thank you for that. And let me say this. Yesterday, and I attended a side event, one of the side events, and I was really challenged by Murang'a County, because the governor spoke about 300 health centers that have been completely solarized. And I thought, Murang'a is in Kenya Highlands. Makueni is in Kenya Lowlands, where there is more solar energy. So therefore, we are learning from each other. And I believe that with the energy plan, the energy strategy, the energy policy that we got help from WRI, we have the opportunity to do a little bit more. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Tim, I'm coming to you. So I think we have heard a lot of examples today, and also hearing from Her Excellency about thinking at integrated level. There is a technical, there is the community, and then there is the development partners and project programs like ourselves and yours that plays a role in supporting for this to happen, in facilitating that. So we wanted to hear about, first of all, what kind of works you are doing. I think we have heard a little bit, but a bit of a reflection on the lessons, on what you're planning to take forward from that would be good. And the other one I wanted to hear is also about how Practical Action is thinking about co-producing on the climate resilience and energy issue in relation to counties, with other development partners, civil society, and community. So the co-production approach, how is that going to be?
Thank you, Mayor. So my name is Tim Mwangi. I'm the head of programs at Practical Action, and I'm happy to be here seeing familiar faces of where we worked in different counties. Our footprint currently is 23 counties in Kenya, and with the support of UK Pact, we'll be expanding to 5 more counties, leading up to around 28 counties across our different programs that you're working on. But we've been working with the county governments very closely because a number of interventions that we're working on are actually devolved functions. So we are in the space of food systems, and we are working on a very big project in Western Kenya here in 10 counties, and I'm happy. Vihiga is one of the counties that we're working on as well, working to make youth to be actually resilient in agriculture, and also exploit business and market opportunities that comes with agriculture. But at the same time, we believe in Practical Action that energy is an enabler. And there are a number of functions or initiatives that we have seen that young people in agriculture can actually exploit through energy. For example, productive use of energy. And how do you do this and ensure that these priorities are actually embedded in the plans, in the county integrated development plans, but at the same time, even in the county energy planning. So the county energy plans that we have developed in 17 counties form part and a section of the CIDP. So it's actually a chapter in itself. And here we are looking at counties being able to unlock finances for that purpose on what has been prioritized. But what a better way to start, especially ensuring that the communities are engaged. There are certain priorities, because at Practical Action, we believe in big change that starts small. We are aligned to the INEF framework, for example, in the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum. They put that big framework where counties can actually contribute to that integrated national energy planning from the county energy plannings that we are actually supporting at the county level. So they are prioritized from communities coming together, different nexus actors coming together, be it in agriculture, be it in the water space, be it even in trade at small and medium enterprises looking at exploiting productive use of energy for that purpose. So energy as an enabler, when it's planned well, when it's prioritized, even in form of saying that an investment prospectus is available for investors, tested and profiled, and even the cost of investment and even the return on investment is also profiled. That way, then you'll be crowding in other private sector players to come in and support. At the same time, the available funds that we have at the county level during budgeting processes, then it will be improved. One of the successes I've seen is that, for example, like clean cooking, which is usually neglected. We're in the 21st century, but we still have very many people in our population using rudimentary ways of cooking. But what if we profiled this in the county energy planning in a much more better way? And it's even resourced, even at ward level, because that is what the constituents in those counties are actually talking about. So if we're able even to prioritize the low energy level needs, up to the higher needs, then we'll be able to have a mix of different actors coming together and being even able to support for that matter. So for us is just basically bringing those voices on the table, ensuring that they are heard even at county level, and then contribute all the way up. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And am I still on? Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Tim. And I appreciate that. And also, you also want to think about being socially acceptable and also politically feasible, whatever you do. So having those different voices is going to be key. So this brings me to the question of data, and I want to turn to our Nairobi County, City County approach into this element, especially following on the conversation on the presentation that Charity has given us about the tools and the systems that they've been using. I wanted to hear how you are applying, the Nairobi County, City County is applying those tools and systems into monitoring and evaluating the climate resilience progress that has been made so far by the county government, and also in terms of what kind of investment is being made on making climate data available both internally and also for maybe partners externally and for usability. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, and thanks a lot for having me. My name is Maurice Kawai, and I'm the Deputy Director for Climate Change, Air Quality Monitoring, and also Renewable Energy. They say that if you want to predict the future, you have to start by creating it. And Nairobi has been the forefront in establishing the system that really support climate investments. So the governor of the day has been able to really establish the legal framework that is required to support climate action. And this has been able to really institutionalize climate change by establishing the unit, by making sure that the unit is also well staffed, and by also creating the legal framework that supports climate action implementation. The City County has already a legal framework, talk about the Climate Change Act. We have been able to come up with a mainstreaming strategy because we realize that intersectoral collaboration partnerships are very key when it comes to climate resilience interventions. So the city has not been left behind. We have also been in a position to come up with a greenhouse gas inventory profile, which has what we call a unique way of being supported through bankable projects. So our partners have an easy access to these profiles, which now they can be able to really direct investments. When it comes to the tools that the city uses, I will mention about the issues of urban heat, and this has been used quite extensively. And as you walk around Nairobi, you'll see a lot of green in the open spaces. We've been able to even start mapping the trees we plant. I remember my colleague was also presenting a case whereby we are teaching Nairobians on how to plant trees, which is a case which did not happen before. Talking about issues of urban flooding, we realized that we could not go far without having that flood mapping maps. And a good investment is the Nairobi River regeneration, which attracted about 50 billion of investment. And as this week, there's a lot of expansion of sewer along that Nairobi rivers. There's a lot of cleaning of that river. And we also seen the urban fabric investments, which is also being supported by World Bank. Talking about issues of climate data, Nairobi City County, I want to say that is the county which is able to have, which has the air quality monitoring framework. We have the air quality data. We are able to even talk about issues of air pollution from the source. This data guides citizens in terms of knowing what to do and even on reporting. When we talk about weather data, we have been able to use that data to even generate possible scenarios in terms of what to expect when it floods. So in terms of the tools which also use in terms of energy, I want to give a very good example where I've been able to do the power loggers in our markets. And out of that, there was a project which the city is actually implementing, providing clean storage for our traders at the market level. One of the impact of that project is actually going to make sure that each trader who uses that facility saves about 6 kilograms of their products every day, translating to about 20,000 kilograms of carbon sequestered every year, which is a good project which we're also trying to look for resources to scale up. This is an initiative which has been, done because of the partnership we are having with our partners, and we are looking forward to be able to scale it up. I will not also forget about the capacity building which has been, enhanced by the National Treasury through the FLOCA program and also the Council of Governors. This has enabled counties, not only Nairobi, to be able to have structures which can be able to implement climate resilience projects. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And talking about scaling, we only have now a bit of 10 minutes, and I want to ask each one of you very quickly a bit more tailored question about the way forward, especially around scaling, and also what opportunities that we can take to take this again. So, it's me now. Okay. Her Excellency, I want to come back to you to talk about finance and the role of development partners in making this work. What call would you make to financiers, also development partners, regarding scaling support for subnational governments, either directly funding on the energy or climate resilient initiatives, and also what mechanisms can counties put in place to receive these fundings for the way that is relevant?
Okay, thank you very much. On the way forward, I would again really stress again on development partners to continue supporting the counties as they develop their policies, development plans, including the action plans that they have developed, to support the counties as they implement those plans. Of course, there is also an opportunity to have public-private partnerships, especially the big projects. We would request the development partners who are here to continue supporting the counties, again on advocacy and sensitization programs at the county level. So as counties, we are ready to continue working with you. We have seen real benefits. We have experienced real benefits of the partnership that we have had with the WRI and of course the UK Pact and the other development partners in supporting counties. There's a lot to be done. The energy prospectus, the energy plans, those are opportunities. The many dots we saw in the maps, in map of Narok, map of Makueni, there's so much opportunity. And my request is that the development partners continuously again also support the counties in infrastructure, energy infrastructure programs, feasibility studies, and all that, so that we can make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Robina, as a development partner, I come back to you more in terms of how you see what the role that perhaps not only counties but also organizations that you support like WRI and Practical Action, what they can do, put in place to attract, what they can do to attract more funding. We want to see development partners to put a bit of money to open the door for others, but also then the stakeholders like ourselves to be able to use that opportunity for more opportunities to attract. So based on all the portfolios you have seen and the works you have seen, what do you think that organizations like Practical Action and WRI can do?
Thank you so much. What they can do to attract more funding? Tim, I don't know what you did to attract this current funding.
I meant investment.
Yes, I know. I'm just putting it across, playing it around. What really did you do to attract more funding? I know from our level or from our end what we look out for. First and foremost, of course, it has to be a demand. It might not be them actually attracting the more funding. I will link it to what Mheshimiwa has talked about. The counties identify and they know the demand, they know the need that they have. So as development partners, then what we look out for, who is able to fill out or close out that gap. Yes, the gap might be skills, the gap might be capacity, but all that needs funding. So funding is there. Sometimes it's few, sometimes it's a lot, sometimes it's sufficient, sometimes it's not. It's just the same way in your household. Sometimes you meet your demand, sometimes you do not. But then, what then do the intermediaries, now the likes of Practical Action, WRI, Strathmore, and other institutions that support the counties directly, what can they do to continue attracting the funding? First and foremost, of course, be in good rapport and good relationship with the counties to understand really what is it that the counties need. Because they're in good interaction from time to time. They interacted with them in various ways, not on one project, but various other projects. So they know what the discussion is, what discussions are going on. They know what discussions are being held. And I would also like to link, because I see members of the COG here as well, I'd like to link up with the COG. Partners in collaboration with the Council of Governors also helps bring out that demand and that identify the gap that needs to attract, to be put in a proper way to attract the funding. What we will need ourselves to be able then to take that to the level of funding. There are various avenues. There is ad hoc requests that come and we look at the request. Is it fitting, for example, with a strategic plan? Is it fitting with the demand of the county? It is possible to address that request at that level. The other aspect is, of course, public call for proposals, and now the likes of now Practical Action, WRI, that's where they come in and express their interest that we can fill that gap. We can be the ones helping these counties to address the demands that they have. If you give us this funding, this is the way we're going to use that funding. What do they need to have themselves? Of course, understanding of what the real issues are and articulating those issues in a way that is able to show relevance between the two partnerships, the funders' partnership demands and also the beneficiary, who is now the county's demand. So, and lastly, positioning themselves in with the right people in the right forums. This is one of the forums. I'm happy to see some of the partners. I see Council of Governors there. I see Africa Development Bank back there. So being in the right forums, this is one of the forums. Interacting with the right network. That is sometimes ways of being aware of what is out there, what are the demands are from funder perspective and also from the implementing partners perspective and beneficiaries perspective as well. Thank you.
Have that proper intel and also the right partnership, as well as also not only limited at a county level, but also at a national level, yes. Thank you so much for that. Tim, coming to you for the way forward question. And we are talking about how can you partner with other like-minded organizations to accelerate energy access and climate action at subnational level? So what role do you see for other partners to play in helping you meet your goals?
I think for us, check. Yeah, I think for us, in the core of our work is definitely partnerships. What we've learned, and even in terms of replication moving forward. So we replicate partnerships. We know different organizations have different strengths, have different encounters and experiences. So leveraging on those experiences and those lessons learned. For example, one of our work in county energy planning, we believe in data-driven, approaches, and we were a little bit struggling on what we needed to do back then in terms of ensuring that data is sorted out, especially in the planning part. we came across WRI, with an all open source tool, the Onset and even the Energy Explorer. And from the get-go, we started using that. And we've seen, data-driven approaches and data analytics being able to even inform the planning. So this kind of partnerships then needs to be, taken forward as a way forward. But at the same time, I also wanted to mention about tailored planning. We might be having a framework which is agreed by everyone, but different counties have different needs, including capacities. So the pathways that you'll start in different counties, some of them you'll really start at first of all having the political buy-in. You'll also start by even capacity building of some stuff. And in some counties like Makueni, I have seen they're just flying with flying colors. So of course there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to learn. Taking other counties for peer learning as well, so that tailored planning is done in a much more better way for peer learning, those exchanges. The other thing is, unlocking these budget cycles, especially now unlocking finance. Apart from the county, let's crowd in even other investors, because for operationalization of these plans that we have actually put in, then they will need investments, and then they will need the budget to be in a much more better way. So in terms of taking this way forward for implementation and operationalization of this county energy planning, then we need to prioritize at the end of the day what we need to do as first before we do everything in a county. So thank you.
Thank you. So looking ahead and coming to the Nairobi City County, what strategies are in place for collaboration that would prioritize we would prioritize between the Nairobi City County and partners like WRI or others to accelerate climate resilience, particularly thinking about scaling the data-driven solutions and community-based approaches or policy reforms across this space?
Yeah, thank you very much. I want to start by saying that the miracles WRI did to Makueni County, we want them to be brought to Nairobi City County. Moving on, WRI has been very instrumental in creating what we call community of practice. And one result of that community of practice is the air quality project through the Canary, which they did. It is a project which is highly praised, the way it was implemented, and we want to bring on board, we want them to bring on board the expertise which they did on that particular project. By creating the community of practice, and this is something which can also be reinvented in all other counties, whereby partners can be able to sit together in a round table and raise resources for climate resilience. We know that partners have different strengths, counties have different strengths, as my colleague is talking about. And if we can be able to have those breakfast meetings, we can be able to bring on board all the partners which can be in a position to raise resources for purposeful implementation of climate resilience projects. The other initiative which I think would be very useful in this context is to sign what we're calling vertical integration with the national government. This one will enable counties to really reduce what we call silo-mentation. Some projects might be domiciled in the county governments, others might be domiciled in the national government, but at the end of the day, we are talking about the common mwananchi. We are talking about listening to the ground. What does the ground say? The ground wants projects to be implemented. The ground wants to see climate resilience. So at the end of the day, as stakeholders in this discussion, we can be able to sit in a room and then agree who takes what, who does what, without reinventing the wheel. Moving on, Nairobi City County has elaborate, infrastructure in terms of, the units which spearhead climate processes. So I want to call upon partners, practical action, and I want to learn a few things from my where I come from, that is Makueni County. I'm a very good friend of Makueni County. And I must appreciate the stewardness you have done towards the environment. When it comes to renewable energy, the county has that demand. I will tell you for sure that no energy will be stored, as in the case in Makueni, because the Nairobi boasts of having the industries which can be able to use that energy. So as we move on to the next level, I will look forward to having partners coming and investing in the city. We will not have excess energy. We want to support to ensure that the energy which is generated from the renewable sources is used instantly. And finally, there's a very good avenue for synchronizing data in cities. We know that over half of the population will be living in cities in the near future, and therefore all of this data which cities generate is actually fragmented. So we can use the expertise from partners. I've seen my good friend from WRI talking about the tools to be able to predict the urban expansions. We can be able to use that partnership to synchronize and have data centers within cities, counties, and even so that when it comes to making decisions, we make decisions which are really reliable. I will not also forget about the issue of targeting communities. Communities are most, hurt by climate change. So we need to make sure that there is a very good relationship between the communities we serve so that we ensure support of the programs which we implement. And finally, the issue of the green infrastructure. There's a lot of investment when it comes to issues of development of roads. But are we speaking about decarbonizing roads construction? Are we speaking about decarbonizing the issues of the cement production? So this is an opportunity which I think we can be able to work through with partners, because cities, counties are growing. And the first users of this decarbonization should be county governments, city governments, because also they do a lot of infrastructure projects. If we can be able to support counties in that particular space, then we'll have a lot of success on the same. Finally, the issue of entrenching climate resilient investments in CIDP, I want to reiterate what my good friend talked about here. We need to see if counties can be able to tie CIDPs, ADPs to NDCs, because we are being asked to report on NDCs, but is there investment towards that particular line? So we need to see cities and counties working together to ensure that our NDCs get the necessary support, so that when it comes to reporting, there's a reduction on the same. And finally, I want to speak about bridging the gap of knowledge when it comes to the political class and also the executive. So if we can be able to have what we call political master classes, are we able to speak to our executive? Are we able to speak to the legislature to support our programs? That would be a good plus for our projects. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I am told that we are running out of time, so I will not take a lot of time, but I would like to once again thank you all for joining us and for this participation. I think they probably deserve a little bit more clapping than I. Yes, and I think what we heard a lot, but what I'm gonna take away is that counties is gonna be a solution, and for partners, they cannot do it alone, but in order to do it well, they need to integrate themselves. But at the same time, I also hear that hearing from the Nairobi City County, as well as also from my Makueni County experience, working together and doing this together is more likely to see this kind of ownership of the solutions, ownership of the way forward, and ownership of how this can be provided and can advanced is very visible, and I'm grateful for that. Thank you all, and I think my colleague Anderson, I don't understand, Victor. You're telling me. For a photo. Oh, we're being told for a photo to come forward. Oh, do we have time for that? Is there a burning question in the room that? Yes, there is a burning question. Are you willing to take it? Yes. I see a hand back there. Victor, can you?
Who should I pick? Let me pick one lady and one gent. Kindly. Let me start with the lady. Then I come to you.
Thank you very much. I'm Faith Moki from Kitui County, the renewable energy engineer. I'm very grateful for Makueni County. They came to Kitui County for benchmarking, and they have they have trained us. Thank you very much. They are our brothers. So my question is one: in Kitui County, we do have the county energy plan, but we have not started the implementation. How can the WRI or the practical action or the UK Pact help us in implementing the energy plan for our county?
Do you want me to go? My name is David Kurian, CC Kiambu County. I appreciate the discussion, but I'm a bit frustrated that we are talking about external partners. We are not talking about internal partners, county between counties. And we are having a lot of conflicts or common problems that cut across. My brother in Nairobi, we rarely talk. And they are having a problem in terms of flooding caused by our actions in Kiambu. We have a problem in Nakuru, the border between Nakuru and Kiambu. And this is because of what is happening upstream. Actually, where people died a lot is because of landslides. We will go back there when again we have another landslides. I think it's a high time we empower the Council of Governors, the partnership departments. If the county and county cannot speak, we can now have that discussions because it's a major problem. If you look at Mukuru Kwanjenga, the flooding that killed a lot of people was also from our side. I was caught throughout, but I'm not even now bothered what is happening because it's not affected our people. This is a situation that we need to address clearly. Then the people from, again, the WRIS, you are doing this research, or practical action, sorry. Don't also segregate the higher urbanized counties also, because we have poor people in those areas and they also need those type of mapping. But clearly, let's also have the partners within the county and county. That's a very serious issue. And kindly empower the Council of Governors directly.
Thank you. Allow me to be better, just two more.
Yeah, good afternoon. I'm Diana Ongere. I'm the Chief Officer for Environment, Homa Bay County. Mine is not a question, but I want to specially request WRI Africa and Practical Action to really support Homa Bay County in developing an energy plan. I'm sure most of the counties that are noted in your radar are also requesting the same, but I want to put the request first before anyone else. Thank you.
Thank you. He has really raised his hand for long. To me, allow me to take this at the last one, kindly, because of time.
Thank you, Victor. This is Felix from Kisumu County. I'm doing energy planning and resource mobilization there. I'm happy to hear what the team is saying. I think I don't have a question. I have an invitation. Kindly come and work in Kisumu, UK Pact, Practical Action, I think WRI, of course, because we already have a transition to 100% renewable energy transition, no? But then I'm just asking, when you're making choices on where you're working, how do you make the decisions? Because I think I should be the first one priority for Kisumu. Kindly come to Kisumu.
Wow, this is difficult. What do I do? Myron, intervene. Okay.
So thank you very much. I am Paul Towit, Director from Bomet County. I'm very also happy with the presentation and with our panelists. Maybe the same request to other counties, because it's like each of our counties here is requesting for support. So I'm also coming in for support for Bomet. We are halfway through the document, but the main challenge that we are facing is on data collection. So if WRI and practical action could support us counties in collecting the accurate data so that we finalize on the document, we'll be very happy. Thank you.
Thank you. Allow me.
Thank you. My name is Grace Mutu. I'm from Kitui County. I'm the climate change advisor to the governor. And as I listen to the conversations here today, there is a gap, I think. We are talking about urbanization. We are talking about climate resilience. We are talking about practical actions. And we're also talking about the way the community should be. But there is a gap we are not talking about. Because when we talk about climate resilience and actions, we are talking about planting trees. But look at what is happening in our places. From the smallest town to the big urban centers, waste is a big problem. Why aren't we talking about waste? That is a beast I think we need to mention by name, waste to energy. Can we come up with that as we up our actions on the climate situation? Thank you.
Thank you. Maybe you start with this.
Any of my panel colleagues would like to comment or give feedback to what has been said?
Thank you for the questions and the comments and the invitations as well. So let me start with Kitui. Definitely, we know, and you are in our radar. We know you developed your county energy planning, but you did not use the framework that was there before, and you are due for review. So it's in our radar. We'll be guided by the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum if we will be working with you. And of course, the Council of Governors comes into play here. So the criteria of selecting the counties on where we are working is guided by the national frameworks, and that's what we follow as where we sit, especially from our technical advisory. And Grace from Kitui County as well, definitely waste to energy is one of the things that we are looking at. Even WRI is actually looking at waste to energy. One of the things that I would want you to invite you to our stand, practical action there. You'll see one of the projects that we're working on is on commercializing, circular economies. For example, in Kakamega County, where we are turning organic waste, actually all of organic waste, into fertilizer in Kakamega County. And we're working very closely there with the county, with a very big site in Mumias for that. But definitely, please visit our site as well. David, CEC from Kiambu, you've actually put out a challenge and a solution at the same time. So definitely, I don't want to hold forth for Council of Governors, because definitely the partnerships discussions need to happen at that top level, then to invite us as development partners. One of the things that we are lucky about is that we sit in different committees for development partners in all the counties that we are working in. For example, in agriculture, there's a platform called CASCOM, where we sit with different partners who are working in those counties and breaking those siloed ways of working, and even going beyond where beyond the counties that you're working with for peer learning purposes at the same time. So I totally agree with your solution on ensuring that partnerships discussions are held at the Council of Governors level and also capacitated to see what is happening in other counties as well. Diana, we are already in Homa Bay. We will also be guided by the ministry if we do CEP planning from here. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. I want to respond to the question on waste to energy in the context of Nairobi. And I want to say that very soon, Nairobi will be launching a waste to energy project at our dam site. So we'll keep you looped. We'll ensure that we work with you regarding how we can be able to support each other as counties. And then my good friend from Kiambu, I'll be reaching out to you after this so that we can initiate how we can be able to work very close. Thank you.
Thank you so much for those many questions. And I think 90% of the questions are around how can you work with our counties? How can we use, for example, the Makueni example to replicate or scale up some of the counties? So being at the funders or donors, from the donors' perspective, let me say this. First and foremost, we do not work in a silo. At the high level, of course, we work with the various other donors. I know GIZ is the other donor that actually plays a big role on energy planning. So one of the things we try to avoid is replication or multiplicity, or being in one space multiples of us. So for example, Kitui, I know you have your plan already developed. I've had a request from Kisumu County, I've had a request from Makueni County. Just to reiterate on what the team has said, we do not choose by ourselves. So we have the county, the Council of Governors here. Veronica, am I lying? We usually sit down with you. We sit down with the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum. We sit down with the implementing partners. We look at what other partners are doing and what has happened. So the ministries especially have, I don't know what they call it, but there is so much that can be done by one partner or by one donor in one area. So if already, for example, Homa Bay County has already benefited some initiative on clean cooking, and Kitui County does not, if they do not have maybe an energy plan, they have not benefited from other energy projects or environment, climate change related projects, they might stand a higher chance of being selected, so that there is equitable distribution of various funding around climate and energy as well. So that is one of the things that is also looked at. Then also relying on the Council of Governors, because they have a better view and better what requests have been made from the various counties. They are able to advise us on which is the best or which is the priority county to consider. So there is a various prioritization that goes on. But of course, we don't dispute the fact that requests also are as a way of priority and showing interest. So for example, I know I've seen requests from Kitui County, I've seen requests from Kisumu County, I've seen requests from Embu, Meru County. Those also stand as priorities, because it shows there is interest, there's willingness, and they've identified the gap, the capacity, and now they're calling out for continued support. So we take that combined with what is the prioritization as regards to, or as prioritized by Council of Governors, and what demand is existing. So there's various parameters that are being used, but of course we appreciate that this is creating a lot of interest. For us, it's then, from my perspective, I'll be looking like, well, there's interest, then where do we get the money? I've not had anybody ask for where do we get the money. It's, can you work with us, or does that translate to how do we get the money? Because I was hoping also to hear from the counties themselves, especially Nairobi County that is here. How do you raise funds from within the county to be able to continue implementation? Kitui County, you've asked about implementation. Yes, the energy plan was developed. Has there been any way of raising funds from within the county, and maybe even private sector as well, other than donor grants, to be able to carry forth? So that is a question not to be answered directly right now, but to think about alternative ways of raising those funds to be able to implement. Thank you.
Okay, I think most of the questions have been responded to. I'm glad by the interest that has been created here from the other counties, and I'm glad that you're learning something from Makueni, and I truly appreciate our partners for the journey we've taken together. Thank you very much.
Just because before we close everything, I just want to pass the mic to my colleague.
Yeah, I think we are now closing. So I just wanted to request for a photograph with our esteemed panelists with the integrated planning and budgeting working paper that I presented earlier on, just to have a photo of that. Then Sio Naomi also would love to have you here on stage. Victor.